Kia ora. Welcome to the latest episode of the Video Weekly Diary. We'll kick things off with our weekly recap. Pushpay jumped 53% last week, finishing at a record closing price of $6.30 after announcing a 32% increase in their total revenue for the year. Pushpay also noted that they expect its rapid pace of growth to continue into the future. On Tuesday, Kathmandu announced that they had begun to reopen their Australian stores after a month-long closure due to COVID-19. They had also experienced a surge in online sales during this period. Kathmandu closed the week up 18%. NZX released its shareholder metrics for April last week, highlighting a strong secondary markets performance with value traded at $4.7 billion for the month, up 75% year on year. Value traded on market was 69.6%, a new single-month record. A high on-market percentage is a strong indicator of market liquidity and reflects the ability for investors to buy and sell shares easily at the prevailing market price. In corporate actions news, both PCT and PFI announced quarterly dividends last week. In other news, the Global Dairy Trade Event 259 concluded with the GDT price index down 0.8%. The Reserve Bank of Australia made the decision to hold their interest rates last week. Meanwhile, in New Zealand, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand is set for their latest OCR announcement later this week. Moving on to our weekly recap. Our weekly stats for the week, the total value traded was 854 million, with 64% of that value traded on market. The total number of trades for the week was 247,000, and the S&P NZX 50 rose 2.3%, closing the week at 10,695. In global markets, the S&P 500 rose 3.5%, and ASX 200 rose 2.7%. Further information on the weekly recap, including the value and volume of the NZX Top 10 securities, can be found on the weekly diary, so check out the link below. And finally, a week ahead. All of New Zealand will be waiting on the Prime Minister's announcement later today on the timings of when the country will move to the less restrictive Level 2. There's also a MSCI announcement later this week, which is effective later in May and will generate some increased trading volumes as investment managers tracking the index look to reweight their portfolios accordingly. Also, as previously mentioned, keep an eye out for the RBNZ and OCR announcement later this week. Thank you for watching the Weekly Diary video. Don't forget to check out the Weekly Diary and the links below for more information. Haere rā.